my name is Matthew Pfeiffer with mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Welcome to my YouTube channel. On this channel, I create videos and content about narcissistic, toxic relationships. And if you have a question that you would like for me to answer on this channel, make sure you send it to justaskmatt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt at mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Just make sure you keep that email 2 to 3 paragraphs max, and you're also very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. If it's too long, if it's too lengthy, or if I don't understand what you're asking, unfortunately, I will not be able to get to it. Also, make sure you hit the subscribe notification and you hit the bell notification so you're notified each and every time I upload a new video. And the fastest way to work with me, if you would like to work with me, all of my links are down below. I do offer one-on-one coaching sessions, and I also have a coaching community. I have a variety of services that I provide, so make sure you check the links out down below. With that being said, let's get into today's email. So this email comes from someone who is wondering how they should break up with someone who is displaying some narcissistic traits, and someone who's narcissistic. And this is a very common question that I get from people. And I'm going to tell you the reasons why. I don't want to spoil this email, but it is very common for someone to know that they want to do it. They kind of get to that action state that they're ready to make a move. They've made their decision, but they don't know how to execute on it. So let's get into this email and let's talk about it. So this email reads, thank you for offering me this opportunity. My question is, what is the best way to break up with a narcissist? My situation is that we live in different states. We have no assets to split and no kids. Thank fucking God. Let me continue with this email. It was a long distance relationship, again, thank God, where I would visit her monthly over the span of 15 months. So one of the things I want to talk about with toxic relationships, so this person said that they would visit one time monthly over the span of 15 months. I'm not knocking long distance relationships, but it's something that you should be aware of if you're in a long distance relationship. Long distance relationships, the time is shorter that you're spending time together. That's obvious, right? So we have to understand that if this person is spending one time monthly, let's say 1 week in a month for 15 months, that's a different time frame than if you were to date someone that is locally. So we need to give those type of relationships a little bit more time to develop if it's a healthy relationship, because it's going to take a little bit longer to get to know them because we get to know people in person. So with that being said, let's get back into this email. She visited me a total of 3 times during that period. Throughout the 15 months, it's clear she's toxic. She has disorganized attachment and will never change. Good for you for recognizing all of that. I realize that no matter what I do, it's not good enough, and my feelings will never matter unless they align with hers. So we have all. So it's great that you're recognizing the type that this behavior, because this could have ended with you guys moving in together. She could have started pressuring you to move closer to her, or vice versa. And so it's great that you're recognizing all this behavior. So let's continue. We actually stopped talking last week, and she was punishing me for saying I felt disconnected and asked her for a bit more engagement to talk. Also brought up Valentine's Day plans, and she blew up and hung up on me, and then belittled and berated me via text because Valentine's Day is a bullshit holiday. I kept trying to talk it out until she stopped talking to me to show me the difference, since she claimed she does not care and is acting accordingly. So we're hearing a lot of elements of her getting pissed off and this person feeling the need to try to soothe and to try to correct. So we're starting to hear some elements of people-pleasing and codependent behavior from this person. This email continues, she never apologized for anything, and it left me feeling super hurt. We're going to circle back to that here in a second. I'm going to repeat that. She never apologized for anything, and it left me feeling super hurt. That's when I decided I wanted out. I haven't spoken to her since, not even to let her know I am done. You should let her know that you're done, but I'm going to circle back to that here in a second as well. She's been trying to contact me on social media, Snapchat and Instagram, and is sending me things, deleting them when I don't send them quick enough, that's very indicative of someone who you mentioned that has a disorganized or like an anxious attachment style, right? That they get so pissed off. It's basically like her version of a silent treatment, right? And so she's deleting them, and I don't read them when I don't read them quick enough. And if I do read them, she's deleting those too. Just bizarre, as if she's trying to bait me into a conversation or to antagonize me. She's 100% trying to do those things. I haven't said a word back because I know it's a losing battle. And I've read that no contact is the best option. It is the best option. What are your thoughts? Thank you so much for your consideration. It is the best option, and at the same time, you still need to end the relationship. Right? We need to get used to speaking up and setting a boundary. And so in this type of situation, right, we have a lot of bad behavior. She knows that this is unhealthy behavior too. So we want to be very direct and very firm. In this type of situation, it is very appropriate to send her a text message, to send her a letter to end the relationship. One of the things that we have to understand when we are in a toxic, unhealthy relationship, when someone is being abusive and berating and belittling, we owe that person dog shit in terms of an explanation. So I want to circle back to something that you said, because it's very indicative of what the actual real problem is that you said she never apologizes for anything, and it left you feeling super hurt. The issue isn't whether or not you want to break up with this person. You've already stated multiple times that you know that it's over. The problem is that you're trying to figure out, how do I break up with this person without feeling guilty and without feeling bad, which is another codependent, people-pleasing type of trait. The last thing that someone who struggles with codependency wants is to walk around with inappropriate guilt, which is something that typically is developed in childhood, right? And I'll get into that in a whole nother video. The problem is that we have to get to a place of acceptance that you're going to break up with her, and guess what? You're going to feel guilty. You're going to feel bad, because this was a part of the conditioning, and it was probably a part of her manipulative tactics towards you as well. Toxic and narcissistic people use a method called the FOG method, FOG, fear, obligation, and guilt. And when they are able to successfully make you feel fear, obligation, or guilt, guess what? They can control any and everything that you're doing. And in this situation, this level of guilt is keeping you in a relationship that you know is unhealthy. And so we have to execute on things, and we have to understand that sometimes it doesn't feel good when we execute, when we break up with people. But we also have to understand, when this is where boundaries comes in, we begin to separate, right? Her behavior, her anger, that's her responsibility, right? You may have heard the game, not my circus, not my monkeys, right? It's not your circus. Those are not your monkeys, right? They belong to her. That uncomfortable feeling of guilt, right? And not wanting to be the bad guy, not wanting to rock the boat, those are your responsibilities. So execute on what you want to do, right? So let's talk about people pleasing briefly. One of the things that about people pleasing, and people who are people pleasers think that people who don't struggle with people pleasing don't care that about what other people think. They do, right? They do care. The difference is that they don't allow for, they still want to be liked by everyone, but the difference is that they don't allow for that feeling to change what they know is the right decision for them. They still do it anyway, right? And so we need to engage in that type of behavior. Still do what you know is best for you. And when you have those feelings of guilt, you begin to process them, and you begin to digest and begin to, whether it be through therapy, coaching, journaling, meditating, going for walks, right? You begin to process those bad, uncomfortable feelings, right? And so that's what needs to happen here. In this type of situation with her behavior, it is completely okay for you to send her a text message. Hey, things aren't working out. It was great knowing you. Thank you for everything. Thank you for the last 15 months. But unfortunately for me, this is no longer working. And then she's going to respond. She's going to send you a bunch of text messages. She's going to blow up your phone. there's no need to contact. There's no reason to contact beyond that point, because as you said, you guys have no assets, no kids, nothing, right? And we have to understand that the behavior that you're seeing from her, all the manipulation and everything that you're talking about, you're going to see it at a much higher level. She might even actually make that drive out to where you're at, right? So keep those things in mind. Make sure that you stay safe. Make sure that you're aware and that sort of thing. But a lot of this stuff is not your responsibility, and learn how to process those emotions. So thank you very much for writing in. If anyone else has a question that you'd like for me to answer here on YouTube, make sure you send it to justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Again, that is justaskmatt@mattpfeiffercoaching.com. Keep the email 2 to 3 paragraphs max. Be very direct and to the point of what your question actually is. And also, if you would like to work with me, the fastest way to work with me is to go to the links down below. You can book a coaching session with me, or you can join another one of my communities. With that being said, thank you guys very much, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.